This is the Roof Butler doing a video inspection at 5883 Revington in Norcross, Peachtree Corners area. So this roof is supposed to be 20 plus years old. If it is in fantastic shape for 20 plus years old. The shingles themselves are not showing that much sign of age. There's hardly any granule loss at all. I mean, you can kind of see it looks a little grainy, but when you get close up, they're really not in horrible shape. The ridge cap shingles are solid. I think there might have been one or two that was cracked up on this ridge. Yeah, so that's pretty much the extent of the wear and tear on this. That one right there. These four right here should probably be replaced. But other than that, the shingles themselves are in good shape. There's a couple things I take issue with on this roof, but in terms of what you would do about it immediately would be up to you, and talk through it with Todd. So we've got some silicone that's worn out on these nail heads. You can see, so when we put these nails in these, we put silicone over the top of them. Exposed nail heads are inevitable, but you definitely want to keep them sealed up. So that's definitely going to need to be reapplied. Sorry, after these shingles are replaced, and just go over in any of the other nail heads. You want to track those down as well. So there's a power fan here, and judging by the rust on the bolts, it's pretty old. More than likely the motor's fried on that and it won't work. In Georgia we get so much heat, the electronic components in that will just kind of fry, so potentially there's not any actual ventilation up here. You have a lot of debris building up in behind the skylight and in your valley right here, also in the gutters. Definitely want to get that off the roof. And as far as I can tell, it looks like these two skylights are mounted sideways. They're pretty standard 2x4 inch skylight, or 2x4 foot skylights. Typically you mount them the other way though. The reason for that is going to be it will eliminate as much debris building up there as possible. It looks like these were actually worked on at one point. You can see where the welds are in the corner are a different color. And also, so this pipe boot has a UV collar. This little rubber collar here keeps the life of the boot for you. It prevents it from drying out and cracking. The HVAC stacks need to be repainted. There's no UV collars on these two or that big one. They do have them there. What that leads me to believe is that more than likely they miscalculated how many they had, and how many pipe boots they had for how many UV collars they needed, or if it was just a maintenance crew that doesn't actually do installs, they didn't feel comfortable getting out on this slope. And I mean, I understand that it's not the safest slope to walk, especially being the north with this algae building up, but you can see there's no disc there, the little rubber disc. Wouldn't be a bad idea to throw those on here and paint those HVAC stacks. Another thing is going to be this ridge vent. This is standard ventilation now. However, you can see the back slope is much lower pitched. Probably wouldn't have been my choice on how to ventilate this, but it seems as though it's working pretty well. And if you don't have any leaks there, no reason to bother it. This pipe boot's an interesting spot right up next to this chimney. This chimney doesn't have a cricket, but by code, since it's under 30 inches across here, that is making contact with the shingle, it doesn't technically need one. Chimney cap's starting to rust. Probably want to touch that up. And again, so these have those UV collars, these little rubber discs. This one, no UV collar. Again, they could have just run out. Looks like this skylight's potentially been worked on as well. I can just tell where someone's been in this area, trying to do something to seal it up. Looks like they took a piece of a shingle here and slid it underneath and tried to use it as a little extra piece of flashing. Again, this thing's turned sideways. Wouldn't exactly be the way I would have installed it, but in terms of nationwide with hail damage, I just don't see anything up here, what we would be looking for is spot granule loss. Like anywhere where there's granules missing that we could argue that hail had struck the shingle. And I mean, I'm looking at it and I just don't really see anything. There's a couple like real light blemishes here, but I don't think that would get written up as hail. This video definitely went longer than I was expecting it to, but hopefully gave you as much information as you needed. I'm gonna get down off this thing and get this video sent over to you, and Todd can work with you on just doing the maintenance on this thing, or potentially going ahead and replacing it. The reason for that is you throw some money into maintenance now and then you have to replace it in the next few years, you're never going to recoup that money, and the price of everything is just going up. So I'll have that sent over to you soon, and you guys can decide what you want to do.